You know the feeling of walking on eggshells in organizations or teams. Not knowing if we should speak up, or shut up. Afraid someone's going to ridicule you for your idea, or be condescending and talk about you behind your back. Incivility in the workplace costs hundreds of billions in the US alone. A worker losing around 2 hours a week due to conflict. In 2005, I warned our startup team of 3 about taking on the wrong investors, and was labeled a loose cannon. At the time, we didn't even see this as uncivil behavior. 3 years later, after $2 million invested, we lost everything, due to our initial poor decision, and my lack of input. This scenario can happen to all startups making pivotal decisions. So, we came up with a solution. The Disputz Review Network, where we get feedback from our work colleagues to help resolve our internal disputes caused by incivility without using hurtful or harmful gossip. But before we can post a dispute on the Disputz Network, we need to agree to first follow the 3-step objection procedure. That is, when we feel offended by uncivil behavior during a disagreement, we simply caution verbally and receive an acknowledgement and move on, or object direct, using the network to document both sides, and receive a simple apology and move on, or stop, and the dispute gets uploaded automatically on the network. And now, an acceptable apology is needed to resolve the dispute. The analogy being the ref's whistle, yellow card and red card. Once on the network, it gets reviewed by your team, not by HR or management, due to a possible conflict of interest. The transparency, preventing rumor-mongering and infighting from running rampant throughout the organization. And if still unresolved, we finally go to the video review, generated by the network, with up to 8 participants, where you and the offender put both your cases before your team. And if still unresolved, the team will vote, and make a recommendation to management, and post on the Disputz Network. The service would be free for startup accelerators to use with their intake of startup teams, while we continue to develop the network tools and proof of concept. An example being an anti-gossip tool and an interruption tool. Also, it will be more difficult to retrofit existing organizations and teams we can commercialize later. Why me? I wrote a self-published book in 2012 on the art of moderating our own disputes, and still available on Amazon. Basically, I've been working on finding a solution to resolve disputes within startups for the last 17 years. Our competition, psychological safety, is the latest buzzword for teams. Teaching psychological safety is exhausting. Too many books, dogmas, and workshops. They teach us to be more civil. We focus on technology to tackle incivility.
Want to teach? Don't bother. Give them a tool, which leads to new ways of thinking.
Buckminster Fuller. What people are saying.
Very interesting point, Desmond. Democratize organizational power as we do political power, so we can vote people out.
Timothy R. Clark, author of The 4 Stages of Psychological Safety. By agreeing how we explicitly tackle incivility in our organizations, means clarity, accountability, and transparency, and no more walking on eggshells.